N-word. They were like a more Negro. But they don't lock up the police officers that's responsible for murder and torture. And let me make it plain. 3 officers in Schaumburg. 3 police officers in Schaumburg dealt with corruption just by locking up some drug dealers and sticking them up.
Yeah.
This state's attorney ready with every case that those 3 officers was involved in. They freed the individuals who got locked up. Schaumburg officers. I'm saying this because it was a Schaumburg officer that called me. And I said they all need to be locked up. He's okay, Gates. But this state's attorney is dealing in selective prosecution. She has not indicted no police officers involved in police murders. They still on the payroll of Chicago Police Department. She has locked up no police officer that's responsible for torture confessions. Because they're from Chicago. A gang is a group of individuals that be socially irregular. Forget GD, forget PD. Get up on FOP.
Yeah!
You need to know about FOP.
That's a hate group.
Police.
That's a hate group.
That support that. None of them turned in a police officer. They murdered someone and they had a camera of them killing Mr. Palmer's son.
Perfect.
That was a police camera from a police vehicle. That officer's still working. So on behalf of Gerri, on behalf of the other torture victims, on behalf of the families of the murdered police officers, you need to do what I did and what Gerri did. We wrote a letter to Chief Judge Tim Evans and asked him to investigate how Chief Judge Beagle can go and make a judge, I believe her name is Clayton, recuse herself because she gave the order to have daily subpoenas. And what that means is this: a new judge comes in and reverses every order that she gave. Say South Africa. Supposed to be America. If it don't be me tomorrow, it'll be you the next day. Her son was tortured. Her son was tortured. Okay? Your son was murdered. Take my word for it. They killed father's son. They give the family folk building. That's duplicity, ain't it? That's saying that, yeah, okay, they did wrong. They killed that man something. It was 4 individuals that I had seen. And we all in one room, and I realized all their sons got killed by police officers. Had a big GDs, they would have been up in arms and kicked all the doors in. But because it was FOP, they don't kick it in. I'm just saying, we got the power, but we march down to City Hall and honor the 50th anniversary. Let's say Chief Judge find out while Chief Judge Evans is officer in that building. Why did that Chief Judge get rid of that judge? Is it because she made the order for Daley to finally get on the stand and testify?
Hello, my name is Amanda Shackelford. I'm the mother of Gerri. My son was tortured into signing a confession for 2 counts of murder that he did not do. Now the police Instead of them, they get paid to do their job. They get paid good money. But they wouldn't do it the way it should have been done. They got my son on the first night of his arrest. They put a gun to his head. They put him in a car, drove him, and he thought he was going to another police station. Instead, they took him to an alley, told him to get out of the car, took his handcuffs off, told him to run. And he said, Mama, if I had ran, they was going to shoot me. So he got back in the car and slammed. And you know that made him mad. Because they didn't get what they wanted to have done. They took him back to the station. But before they took him back, they put a gun to his head and told him to sign those papers. He got back to the station. He did not sign the papers. This was October 3rd, 1990. The following night, they took him again, but they took him in a different area. In that police station, they beat him. They kicked him. My son had a pin in his leg, holding his leg together, because he had gotten shot years before this happened. But on the second night, they didn't know that the pin was in his leg. They kicked him, they messed up his hip, they broke that pin in that leg. Right now, my son is walking on 2 crutches. He had been on those 2 crutches for almost 2 years. He was on 1 for almost 3. But they're still torturing my son because they refuse to do surgery on him. They told him that only thing they could do for him is amputate that leg. And every time I see my son, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad because he's in such pain. And you know what? I thank God for the Torture Commission. Mr. David Thomas has did a marvelous job. And I'm so proud of that commission. Because if it wasn't for him and that commission, our family members would still be where they are. That's the only chance that they have. They need that help.
Yes, yes.
They need that help. And when do they need it? Now!
Now is the time!
Now! Now, you know what? It should have never happened. That should have never been going on. One officer told my son that he was going to send me to early grave. He lied. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere.
No peace.
No more racist police. No justice. No peace. No more racist police.
No justice. No peace. No more racist police. No
Justice. No peace. No more racist police.
No justice. No peace. No more racist police.
Nate Fields.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this morning. My name is Nathan Fields, and without any doubt, I have been a victim of police crimes in a terrible way. I was, in 1985, I was framed by the Chicago police on a double murder. Based on that framing, it led to my being sentenced to the death penalty. I spent a total of 11 and a half years on Illinois death row for a crime I didn't commit. The total amount of time that I spent in prison for this crime was 17 years and 11 months. To make a long story short, I was eventually retried and I was found not guilty. I represented myself in my certificate of innocence hearing, which I won against the very prosecutors who was trying to send me back to death row. It's been almost 30 years since this happened to me, but since being home, I see that it's business as usual with the Chicago police. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It is just something in the core of the Chicago police that just make them refuse to acknowledge that a person could be innocent, that they could have made a mistake. My position has always been that the death penalty is a dangerous thing to tinker with, and primarily based on the fact that we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. This is not a baseball game dealing with the death penalty as it was being dealt with me, but it was played like that by the Chicago police, like it was a baseball game. But unlike a baseball game, when the player slides into second base and the umpire says he's out, hey, that player goes to the dugout, but guess what? He can come back out. They can look at further review and say, hey, guess what? We made a mistake. So that man can come back on the field and go back to second base. Let me draw a parallel to what happened to me, or what almost happened to me. The parallel is, you can't make a mistake with the death penalty. You can't bring a man back from the graveyard.
No, you can't.
And that theory in itself, along with many other that myself and 20 other death row exonerees from Illinois brought to the people of Illinois, was accepted when the death penalty was abolished in 2010 in Illinois. While I was on death row, I witnessed a total of 11 men executed. Many of these men that I was with and befriended while I was on death row, I'll never forget. I live with those memories, I'll die with those memories. There's nothing that can take it from me.
Yeah.
But I can say this, since I've been home, I work construction with major construction rigs. I started my own landscaping business. I am a board member of Witness to Innocence, a group of exonerated death row prisoners from across America who has come together to tell their story of how we all wound up on death row. But guess what? No Chicago policeman has apologized to me. No state's attorney in Cook County has apologized to me. No judge, no governor, no nobody. We gotta bring major attention to the crimes of the police.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Miss Kristen Low.
No beef. Police.
No justice.
No beef. No more racist police.
Good morning, everyone. I am so glad to see everybody here. We are marching against police crimes, and when we say crimes, that's exactly what we mean. We're not talking about misconduct here. We're talking about crimes.
Yeah.
We're talking about aggravated battery. We're talking about murder. We're talking about what they like to call involuntary manslaughter. We're talking about Rekia Boyd. We're talking about Dakota Bright. We're talking about people who were executed, were shot in their heads by the police. This is an execution, and as the young gentleman said to us today, there is no death penalty in Illinois. So why are the police still killing people?
Right.
We do not kill people in Illinois. It is not state sanctioned. The state has made it clear. You will not kill an Illinois citizen. So they should stop killing us. Now, I'm not saying every now and then we got people in our community that don't deserve a cap in their AZZs. But what I am saying is that they do not deserve or I should say, they are not allowed to be killed in Illinois. So I'm going to give you some stats on the police, because a few things have changed in the past few years. So let's look at it. Between 2009 and 2012, there have been 224 officer-involved shootings in the city of Chicago. Of those shootings, 213, 95%, have been male and 11% have been female. There have been approximately 63 fatalities. That's 28% of all shootings. 28% means 1 out of 3 shootings will end in death. In 2009, there were 19 fatalities. In 2010, there were 13 fatalities. In 2011, there were 23 fatalities. And let me put a little asterisk on that. In 2010, 5 police officers were shot and killed. In 2011, 23 people were shot and killed by the police. That needs a Department of Justice investigation. It went from 13 to 23 in 1 year. You need a Department of Justice investigation on that. In 2012, 8 fatalities. We have been out here fighting for years to get them to bring their numbers down, and they have finally brought their numbers down. Unfortunately, they are still shooting and killing people. As of today, 2013, we believe that 6 people have been shot and killed. In 2009, there has been a steady increase of African Americans being killed. 2009, 66% of the shootings were African Americans. In 2010, 74% of the shootings were African American. In 2011, 80% of the shootings were African American. In 2012, 88% of the shootings were African American. And as of now, only 1 shooting of the 6 was not an African American. That was a Hispanic man. Of the tasings, we are 74% of the tasings. Now, electrocution, which is what tasing is what the police torture victims are talking about. These men were electrocuted. Tasing is electrocution. And 74% of the tasings are African American. I represent Women's All Points Bulletin. We are a nonprofit organization that protects women against police violence, and we have been talking at the police board for 4 years. And I am here to say that since the Rekia Boyd shooting of 2012 in March, they have not shot 1 woman. Your voices are being heard. We are making a difference. Keep marketing, keep speaking out. They went from shooting 23 to 8. That's up. That is up. We make a difference. Keep making a difference. Peace and grace to all of you all. Love.
All right, Krista.
Okay, everyone, we have one more speaker here at the Federal Plaza. After he removes from center stage here, we're going to line up to head over to the Thompson Center. I would like all the families of torture victims and all families of police crimes to line up at the beginning of the march. You're going to lead the march, okay? If you have any questions, you'll see me around here going crazy. Just stop, okay? Mr. Coleman?
Now we're about to start marching in about 5 minutes. We're going to march north to City Hall. And
my name is Kristen Coleman. I've been in law enforcement for almost 25 years. I'm the former chief of police in 2 South suburban communities. I presently work for the Department of Illinois Parole, District 1 in Chicago. My son was 38 years old when the police took him into custody. 12 hours later, he was tortured, beaten, and dead. Now this is Chicago police at their best. Most of the time they come to our community, they tell us one of their problems is that the community won't support them. I'm in law enforcement. I was there. I put my son in the police wagon because he had a mental breakdown. Instead of taking him to the hospital, they took him to 111th Street lockup. We still waiting. This happened December 2012. I'm still waiting on the video of what happened to my son in that lockup. What we're trying to do with CPAC is get an oversight committee of citizens elected to oversee the Chicago Police Department. And people, you don't know how bad that's needed.
Oh yeah, we know.
My son was not a gangbanger. He was not a drug dealer. He had got his first degree from the University of Chicago. He got his second degree from Illinois University. And he was working with the Hospice Foundation. So the two things that he believed in most, which is law enforcement and health, is what finally killed him. And the police told me the night that they took him, when I begged them to take him to Jackson Park Hospital to get a mental workup. They told me they don't do hospitals, they do jails. Now, if it was just white police, I'd be all upset. But there were black police out there also. And that's one of the things that we have to change by getting this oversight committee.
Yes.
There are two terrorist groups in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
Two known terrorist groups in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
One is the Chicago gangs, the other is the Chicago police.
Amen.
Now mind you that if all of the police were the same, we'd be in a bowl of trouble every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But the good cops won't speak up until they retire. The good cops won't speak up because they're worried about their career. The good cops won't speak up until one of their family members wind up dead or tortured. We have to join this alliance to get as many people in Chicago on board with this. Because they try to make you think that we are worthless, we are useless, and we are hopeless. They do that by fear. The gangs want you to film, the police want you to film.
Yeah.
And then when they come into our community, they don't want information from us. They want to tell us how they want to provide services and enforcement.
Yes.
People, I'm in law enforcement, I'm going to tell you something.
Tell us.
I was the commander of police in Chicago Housing Authority, CHA, here in Chicago for 9.5 years. We got Chicago Housing Authority off the most troubled housing list in the United States because we had to work with the residents.
Yes.
We had to talk with the residents.
Yeah.
If we didn't work with the residents, we didn't work. That's the way they had it in CHA. That's the same thing we need to do in Chicago, because this is a terrible city and should be labeled the tale of two cities. We got two cities here. When is the last time you had a shooting in the north side, a drive-by? How many white folks have the police killed accidentally on purpose? Why is it that only people of poor communities and color are the ones who are on every list about police brutality, torture, and murder? Now, in certain places, you can call that genocide. But in the black community, where we know the black gang members are our children going wild, that's fratricide. That's killing of the brothers and your own sisters.
Yeah.
We have to organize around this alliance to do this. And we have plans of implementation. But we can't do it without registered voters. Just like we put these people in office, we can take them out if we get together and do it. The last thing I want to tell you is this. We're going to have more young people involved in these kind of movements so that we can get input in changing stuff. We don't need the people to keep having pictures of pill dropping, pants dropping, gun toting, thugs.
Amen.
That's the only thing in our black community. But that's not the truth about the black or the brown community. we have good young people in our community, and sooner or later they have to step up to the forefront. We charge you with genocide. Racist cops, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide.
Racist cops, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Racist cops, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide.
All right. We are about to start lining up so that we can head down to City Hall and Daily Plaza. Are you ready?
Ready!
We are going to have our elderly and our people in the wheelchairs to lead the march. We want them to head to the corner. If we can open up a hole right over to my left. If we can open up a hole to my left. If we can open up a hole to my left. And all those